Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As you can probably tell by the title of this one, I will be discussing my cheat day aftermath and my reverse dieting approach. And many of you guys have been asking for me to document my reverse diet, and to clue some of you guys in, I have recently wrapped up a comp prep which lasted from about October last year to this past weekend on Saturday. So almost 30 continuous weeks of dieting where I lost about 18 kilos. I didn't go over my macros once, and like many competitors do afterwards, they have a period of indulgence, and I chose to have basically a day of eating or a cheat day where I ate whatever I wanted to, didn't really acknowledge the calories, acknowledge the nutrition in it. I just ate what I wanted to, enjoyed some delicious food, and I have no regrets at all. So I think it will be really beneficial for you guys for me to basically say how I dealt with that. And I'm not saying it's 100% the right way. There's more than one way depending on the individual and how they like to approach things. But let's get stuck into it. Got some warm pre-workout here, which I'll be using on the way to the gym. I say it every video, but if you haven't tried warm pre-workout, I highly recommend it. Even just warm water from the tap, or just boil some water in the kettle and add some tap water to that. But as I said, it's Thursday today, had my cheat day on Monday. The next day I woke up about 2 kilos heavier, and I think first and foremost, it's really important to address why you're heavier, because that initial weight spike is not body fat. It's literally impossible for all of that to be body fat. Some people might not gain any body fat. And the reason why is because we have to acknowledge why that weight gain happened. So part of it is going to be refueling or refilling your glycogen stores, because when you consume carbohydrates, that gets stored as glycogen. That is going to be a fairly significant component of that weight gain. We also have to consider the food bulk. So if you've had more food than usual, naturally there's going to be more food sitting in your stomach. And those are probably going to be the two main reasons. In order to actually gain a decent amount of fat, 1 kilo of fat is about 7,700 calories on top of your maintenance. So in order to gain 1 kilo of fat, let's say my maintenance is 3,000 calories, that's over 10,000 calories worth of food I would have to eat in order to gain a kilo of fat. So when you put it like that, it puts it into perspective a lot more. So that's part of why I, to be honest, if I wasn't documenting this for YouTube, I probably wouldn't have even weighed myself, because I know that number is going to be fairly irrelevant on the scale. But what I want to touch on next is what I actually did the day after. So naturally, consuming that much food, especially after a dieting phase when I wasn't used to that food that rich, I actually wasn't hungry at all the next day. And I probably could have easily fasted the whole day, not as a psychological response to the cheat day, but purely as a physiological response. I just wasn't hungry. So what I did, because naturally I still wanted to consume some sort of food, I just had a few protein feedings throughout the day. So at breakfast, at lunch, at post-workout, and at dinner, I just had some protein, so like some yogurt, some kangaroo, protein shake, cottage cheese, all that kind of stuff. And I had some fruits and vegetables as well. So naturally my intake the following day was quite a bit lower, and as a result, my weight came down, not obviously to baseline, but about like a kilo or just over a kilo heavier than what I was when I began. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I managed to get back down to what I was prior to the cheat day, because that wasn't the goal for me. The goal for me was to enjoy that day and commence some weight regain, because as a competitor, I'm a very, very unhealthy level of body fat, and my energy levels are fairly low during the day. I've got all the symptoms and signs associated with being very lean and having dieted for a long period. So as part of my reverse diet, it is really, 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 really important that I gain some weight back. And having lost 18 kilos, the initial weight regain is going to be quite structured. It's going to be quite fast as well, for the pure purpose of feeling better. And for those of you who do get very lean during a comp prep, you need to do this as well. And if you don't have the signs and symptoms associated with having dieted for long periods, then it is less important for you to regain that weight quickly. So let's say you're a bikini competitor, you don't get quite as lean as a bodybuilder, then naturally your weight regain can be slower. You might even be able to maintain that level of body fat if you really want to. But for us bodybuilders and men's physique, classic physique, figure competitors, sports model, and like IFBB bikini, it is important that you have an element of controlled weight regain. So I guess the big question in the room is, how much weight will I be regaining and how fast? So roughly, I like to follow a guide of around 5 to 10% of my stage weight in the first 4 to 8 weeks post-show. So what that'll look like is my stage weight was around 76. So that's anywhere from like 3.5 kilos to around 8 kilos of weight regain in the first 4 to 8 weeks. So my plan initially is to gain 2 kilos in the first week, and then basically 1 kilo from then onwards, and basically reassess how I'm feeling every single week in terms of energy levels, in terms of libido, all that kind of stuff. Do I enjoy training? Am I feeling recovered? All of those kind of really key variables. So I'll be sure to keep you up to date with how I am feeling, and it is going to be a process, because I'm not going to recover like that overnight. It's going to take weeks and potentially months, especially to get my testosterone back up to where it was before, which completely plummeted. And I did get a recent blood test to see what that was at the end of prep, but I think I'll address that in another video, to be honest. So another very important point that I wanted to mention for other competitors and myself, of course, is the binge and restrict cycle. So one episode of overeating or indulgence or a cheat day or a structured cheat day, whatever you want to call it, isn't the end of the world. As I mentioned before, in order to gain fat and gain significant body fat, you need to overeat by a lot. But what is the danger of cheat days is that they cause that cycle. So if one turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 4, turns into a week-long episode or every week, then that's when it becomes a slippery slope, and you will gain fat and you will develop potentially a disordered eating or an unhealthy relationship with food. So it's really important to not let that turn into a cycle. And the reason why it can turn into a cycle is because some people, and I've been guilty of this in the past before I commenced my fitness journey, is you binge and then you restrict the day after. And like, even though you might still be hungry, and then you get so hungry the day after that you're like, oh, that cheesecake sounds really tempting again, and you end up binging again, and then restricting, and then binging, and then restricting, and then binging, and then it continues. And the longer it goes on for, the harder it is to break that cycle. So that's why for me, I viewed this day as kind of like an ultimatum. Like, this is the day where I'm just gonna eat what I want and enjoy myself. And fortunately for me, I feel completely mentally and physically okay the day after. I did have less of an appetite. But if you are planning to have a day of overeating, it's really important that you don't create that cycle, because as soon as you do, it's very hard to break. So the last thing before I go ahead and train is basically what my nutrition is at right now and what my training's at. So my nutrition, I have bumped up quite significantly to 400 carb, 70 fat, and 250 protein on a rest day, and then 500 carb on a training day. So that's about 800 to 1,000 calories more than what it was before. And so far, pretty crazy, but I have actually maintained around 77 kilos on those macros. So I need to get ahead and bump those numbers up even further. Otherwise, I'm not going to gain any weight, which I need to. So I am someone with a very adaptive metabolism, which means when I lose weight, I need to drop macros quite aggressively. When I gain weight, I need to increase macros quite aggressively. So I'll be basically increasing the calories as I need to, as the days and weeks and months progress, in order to facilitate that weight gain. And then once I have recovered, then I'll be able to commence a slower rate of gain of approximately like 1% of my body weight per month. So that might look closer to, instead of 1 kilo a week, it'll be 1 kilo a month. And it's definitely not an exact science, so bear with me on that. And it's different for everyone, as I said. So like, what's your starting body fat? Are you mentally okay with regaining weight that quickly and letting your condition fade? But for me, because I'm athlete and coach first and foremost, for me, my priority is to maximize my training performance, get growing some new muscle, new tissue, and feel good again. So to quickly touch on the training side of things, basically what I'm doing this week, which is the week directly after my comp, is I'll be running a very much needed deload, and I'll just be going into the gym, training at a low intensity, reducing the amount of volume I'll be doing as well, just getting a pump, having a good time, and falling in love with the process of training again, because by the end of prep, it was a huge mental battle and a physical battle to match numbers and motivate myself to go to the gym, just because my body fat is at such a suboptimal level. So I will 100% discuss my training in more depth as the weeks go on, because I haven't even written my new program yet. I'll be doing that probably today or tomorrow. And then I would love to make a new YouTube video just discussing my approach to training and my approach to the off season and how I plan to gain as much muscle as possible. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully this was a good insight for you guys. Hopefully you learned something. I think I'll probably keep this video a bit shorter than usual. If you have any questions, or if you feel like I've missed something, just hit me up on Instagram, or you can leave something in the comments below. But if you would like to see anything else in future videos, just let me know, and leave a like, subscribe, share the video, and I shall see you in the next one.
I went by your house, what a big mistake.